So here's 5 bench stashes you should put on your bench heading into Week 9 before the games start on Sunday. The first guy I'm going to try to stash is Sammy Watkins of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's questionable coming in with the hamstring injury. He's missed the last few weeks as Watkins, but when he does play, he has some big games, and he's a guy I would like to have on my bench. They got a bye, though, in Week 10 is Kansas City, so they might hold him out, but if they don't and he plays, I think he'll be all right to go. He's available in 55% of leagues as Sammy Watkins, and he's just a good guy to have on your bench, in my opinion, as your third or fourth, fifth receiver in that range. So Sammy Watkins, he's out there, like I said. He's on a great offense. Yes, he has the bye next week, but you could pick him up now and just have him sit there before someone else beats you to the wire, especially if he plays this week and has a blow-up game. You're going to want him, so go out there and get Watkins before the game Sunday. The next guy's Patrick Laird of the Miami Dolphins. Matt Breida, we don't know if he's going to play this Sunday. And Laird now, he might be the next man up. Jordan Howard, I don't think he could handle a full workload except short yardage and goal line carries. So Laird, we saw him have some flashes last season in some limited work at the end of the year was Laird. And this guy, he's a good receiver out of the backfield. Last year he had 30 targets, and he caught 23 of them for 200 yards. So Laird, he'll definitely have a role in this Dolphin offense if Breed is not available, and he could get a lot of junk dump-offs. Because I know Tua, he's not going to stretch the field. He's going to try to dump the ball off to his running back or just take it himself. I don't like this Miami Dolphin offense at all now with Tua. But if you need someone in a pinch or just a starter, you gotta. If a guy's starting on that team, you gotta have him on your roster. And if he's there, go get him. He's available in 98% of leagues as Laird. The next guy's Brian Hill, who was on the list 2 weeks ago, and I wish I kept him in one of my leagues. Last week he got a lot of work. Was Brian Hill of the Atlanta Falcons, the backup running back. Todd Gurley, he was banged up most of that game, and he'll finish with 13 touches for 64 total yards. So he's a dual threat out of the backfield, more of a receiving back. He's available right now in 87% of leagues. Last week, he had a decent game, 8 points. This week, he's got Denver and then the bye. But say something does happen to Gurley, which I've been talking about for weeks now that it could. You got to go out there and get him just in case to handcuff it. Because Gurley, that knee could give out on any time. So I would go out there and get him. The fourth guy is Austin Hooper of the Cleveland Browns. He's on bye this week, so he's definitely and most likely out there in your leagues is Hooper. He's going to come back after an appendix injury that cost him 2 weeks. Yes, he's out there in 62% of leagues is Hooper. He practiced on Wednesday, so he's definitely on track to return in Week 10 after the bye. He's going to be out there. He had a couple good ball games before getting hurt was Hooper with 14, 10, and 10, so that's solid production from the tight end position. And now with Odell Beckham out for the season, Hooper, he's going to be a guy getting more targets in that offense. Baker, he likes those big targets and tight ends. We saw him with Harrison Bryant 2 weeks ago, where the rookie had a breakout game with 2 touchdowns and 56 yards. And Hooper, he's got a nice schedule coming up after the bye this week. In Week 10, he's got Houston, Philly in 11, and Jacksonville in Week 12. So Hooper, this guy, he could be a tight end that you could go out there and get and plug and play him in your starting lineup with confidence. He's the fourth guy. And the fifth and final guy I'm going to look to stash on my bench this week, heading into Week 9, Sony Michel of the New England Patriots. This guy, he just always finds a way to get back to relevancy with New England. And now he's been activated from the injured reserve designated in 21 days. He practiced on Thursday with Sony Michel, but who knows if he's going to play or not. Harris, he's looked decent in roles, but for whatever reason, Sony Michel keeps getting the chances. We saw him have a big game in Week 3 before he got hurt with 9 carries for 117 yards, and he also even added 2 catches for 23 yards for a 16-point fantasy day. So Michel, he's always going to be part of that offense, in my opinion, and he's going to come back either this Monday night or next week versus Baltimore, in my opinion. So Michel, he's out there in a bunch of leagues, 73% of leagues. So he's another guy I would just stash because New England, they like using a bunch of running backs, and you don't know which one they're going to use each week. But Michel, he'll definitely be part of the rotation, and he could even take over for Harris. Who the heck knows? So that's 5 guys I'm going to stash this week on the bench before the games start here in week 9.